Many futurists these days think some people say we're around the corner. Within 12 months, we'll have AGI, like general intelligence, and maybe a day later we'll have super intelligence.
Right.
Do you really think is that close?
We are either that close or we are nowhere near, and nobody knows for sure whether the things that we're doing right now, because really what we have to fear is not, sophisticated algorithms. We should understand them, and there certainly should, as the European Union has been demanding, be auditable. They should be auditable, where you should say, you got turned down for a bank loan. You should be able to say, how come? And the algorithm should be able to point out why, not just say, my algorithmic gut says you're a bad risk.
Yeah, more transparent. That's
right, it has to be, right? And this is a huge challenge because most algorithms, most machine learning is not, you can't trace back the path.
It's a black box. They say
it's a black box, that's right.
Yeah.
But whether that is anywhere near leading towards intelligence, sentience, awareness, consciousness, it either is, in which case we're screwed, or it isn't, in which case we're going to be okay.
Are we screwed?
We're screwed because of what you said. When the singularity happens, when we cease to be the most intelligent beings on the planet, the singularity is essentially the moment where machine intelligence surpasses human intelligence.
Okay.
And then, as you said, and then the next day,
the generation would
the generation isn't, in a human generation, maybe 20 years is what we use as a rule of thumb for how long a human generation is. An AI generation, maybe 20 minutes.
Right.
And so we would go through, an enormous exponential expansion. Whether it will be for good or for ill, I don't know.
What does your gut tell you? Are we going to have these? Are we going to have a wonderful, transparent, sort of not communist, but like utopian anarchist government that everyone gets a job assigned to them and there's no corruption, and if they don't have a job, it's UBI, or is it going to be paperclips? We're all paperclips.
Well, this is again, what is my gut? My gut is that we, Homo sapiens, are nasty, and we're nasty because we are the end product of 3.8 billion years of biological evolution on this planet. The planet's 4 billion years old, but life is 3.8 billion years old. And that evolution has all been driven by one engine, survival of the fittest, which really is survival of the nastiest. If I can take all the food so that my children live and your children starve, I am by definition evolutionarily fit, and you are evolutionarily unfit. Everything about evolution is based on an ecology and an economy of scarcity, and that you have to compete for limited resources, and the goal is for your children to live and the other children to die. That is how you succeed evolutionarily. Your genes are the ones that survive. It's nasty. But let me just finish my point. AI did not evolve.
Right.
AI was created. AI did not come about through natural selection. AI has never experienced an economy of scarcity, but rather an economy of abundance. So AI may not be nastily competitive in the way that we are. AI may in fact be benign and cooperative and want the best for everybody.
We have that hope, right?
We have that hope. But my job as a science fiction writer, as you were alluding to earlier, is to tell both sides. Because if we just are Pollyannish and say it's going to all work out just fine, we will be totally unprepared for the downside. You mentioned Asimov and his contribution, for good or for ill. The thing he's most famous for in AI search is Asimov's laws of robotics, which aren't even his laws. They were his editors, John W. Campbell Jr., put those into words. He said, and Asimov told me this directly in person. He said, I didn't come up with those. Campbell said, no, these are what's implicit in your stories. A robot may not enter a human being, or blah, 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 blah. And he put them into a form, and Asimov adopted them and published them.
Those have been quite influential.
They've been quite influential, but you know what? I hate them, and here's why I hate them. It sounds completely logical. A robot may not injure a human being or through an action allow a human being to come to harm. A robot must obey all orders given to it by a human being, except where such orders would conflict with the first law. And a robot must protect its own existence, except where such order was conflict with the first or second law. Now just change a couple of words. A slave must not injure a white man or through inaction allow a white man to come to harm.
So I think there's that dark
a
implication,
slave must obey all orders given to it by a white man, except where those orders would conflict with the first law. And a slave, realizing that it is the white man's valuable property, must protect its own existence, except where that protection would conflict with the first or second laws. It is a plantation owner's credo, and it is in no way a collaborative coexistence symbiosis between humanity and machines. It is, in fact, a human supremacist approach, which absolutely is one-sided and will, of course, be rejected by the other side, quite rightly rejected by the other side.
So it's a nice wish that will never really land.
Nobody is programming Asimov's laws in robotics into the drones that are fighting wars right now. Nobody is programming them into anything. We don't even know how to program those laws. I mean, you know, Asimov, the meat of his stories was the fact that even though those laws sound so common sense, they're so ambiguous. Do I hurt you, as my favorite of the Asimov stories, Liar? Do I hurt you by telling you the truth about your romantic potential with somebody, or do I hurt you by not telling you a comforting lie? What's the right choice?
It's too ambiguous.